Dedication page. This book is dedicated to Thorbjorn Alaric Baines and Thaddeus Zenos Ringgold, the two souls who came through me and were my call to action, keenly teaching me that love is an everlasting reservoir. It has been my honor to be your mother. May my sons be proud of me as I reveal to them the truth behind the curtains. Chapter 1. It started again. I wasn't completely blindsided. My intuition was on overdrive, the past few weeks filling me with dread. I'd reassured myself that however this transpired, I can and will handle it. As Nana always said, this too shall pass. My phone rang. It was Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, in the late afternoon. I was standing in the string department at Taylor's music store with one of my viola students. I would have ignored my phone, but it was Tin Man, and my stomach fell with the downward movement of a roller coaster plunging. The boys were with him, and he wouldn't have called unless something was wrong. In the past 14 years since I'd permanently vacated the marriage, he'd rarely called, preferring email and text messages for proof. He did call, though, last year, August 2022, on a Monday morning. He'd informed me that Thorbjorn, our oldest son, who was 16 at the time, had run away from home. 2 days earlier, when he, his wife Scarecrow, our youngest son Thaddeus, and their daughter had gone out to dinner without Thorbjorn, they had returned home to find Thorbjorn gone. Thor had left a note explaining he had gone to a friend's house. After discovering Thor was not, in fact, at that friend's house, Tin Man had called the police. The police were non responsive, saying it was pretty normal for a teen who doesn't want to be disciplined to take off. In time, the police assured, Thor would return home whenever he got hungry or cold. Sunday had come and gone, and even though it had rained, Thor had not returned home. Now it was Monday morning, and Tin Man was letting me know Thor was still not home. We'd actually laughed about it because we knew Thor's personality. He was stubborn and obstinate. A few weeks earlier, to our disappointment, he'd been kicked out of junior ROTC because of mouthing off to a senior officer. We laughed because we felt that Thor was in essence punishing himself by running away from home. Yes, likely he wanted to hurt us, but we knew he didn't have the forethought to plan. Likely he'd only taken a roll of toilet paper and some snacks. Eventually, when he got cold or hungry, he'd return home, like the police said, so we weren't completely worried. By that afternoon, with still no word from Thor, worry kicked in. Tin Man and Scarecrow redialed the police and were instructed to post on Facebook that he was missing. When I saw the Facebook post Scarecrow had created, it hit the core of my heart and I cried. My mother's intuition told me that he was okay, though. Just hours later, Tin Man called again to tell me Thor was safe and found at his high school. One of the teachers had seen him and had called the police. Thor had apparently walked all the way from their neighborhood in Chesterfield to his high school over 7 miles away. He'd remembered his orchestra teacher had requested help setting up the chairs and stands for class, and he showed up to help, smelling like a homeless person. I was relieved, and despite his obstinate behavior, I thought, at least he likes playing an orchestra. I looked at my phone and answered with trepidation.
Hi, Destiny.
I'm here too, Scarecrow said happily, and I rolled my eyes. Yeah, what's up? I said as calmly as I could.
Destiny, Thaddeus doesn't want to come home. He wants to move here. Will you let him move in with us?
No.
He says he's afraid to come home, that he is afraid to tell you that he wants to live here now.
Oh, yeah? I said. That's too bad. I quickly got irritated at how these two could get under my skin. I knew they were making up stories again. I was quick and to the point. Thaddeus better be home on the train Friday, like planned, I said and hung up. I shook my head and told myself to breathe. I quickly said my goodbyes to my student and her mom and left. On the way home, I called my husband Jake.
Destiny, if they don't send Thaddeus home on the train as planned, we'll go to the police. We'll file kidnapping charges. Then they'll contact Richmond police and take custody of Thaddeus. You have your custody order, right?
Yes, absolutely. I also have all the emails where we planned the summer schedule.
I'm sure kidnapping charges won't look good for Timian's career.
Jake said. That's absolutely true. I paused. That would be oddly satisfying, I said. But nevertheless, I would prefer Thaddeus home. This way, we can talk to him and make sure he's okay. When I got home, my phone rang. It was Thaddeus. Hi, honey. I answered the phone.
Mom, I want to move to Virginia.
He said, No, hi, Mom. No, how's everything? That's nice, but that's not your decision. You're coming home on the train in 2 days,
Okay.
was all he said. Goodbye, Thad. See you Friday. I love you, I said, ending the call quickly. I knew they, Tin Man and Scarecrow, were listening, and it was all a setup. No reply, he just hung up. I sighed. Next, I made copies of the custody order, Thaddeus's Amtrak schedule, and the emails exchanged between Scarecrow and I finalizing the summer. If Tin Man was ready to bat, I was ready to play ball. The next day, while teaching at the Virtuoso, I received a call from a local number.
Miss Ringgold,
A woman's raspy voice addressed me.
I'm the Cowardly Lion, and I represent Tin Man. I was hoping we could work out a solution to a current problem concerning Thaddeus's desire to live with Tin Man.
No, absolutely not, I retorted.
You do realize your son does not want to come home. He wants to live with his father. Can we come to some sort of compromise?
She tried again. No, absolutely not, I said forcefully. If Tin Man wants Thaddeus, he's going to have to take me to court. And I hung up before she could reply. Absolutely no fucking way, I muttered under my breath. You can go fuck yourself. I couldn't believe it was all starting again, but it was. I could feel my blood pressure rising. Hold up, I said to myself. You have been down this road before. You're no longer a newbie. Where is your point of power? Okay, so you have what you want. I already have custody order where I have sole physical custody of my boys, though we share legal custody of them. Granted, Thor has been living in Virginia since May 2020. This wasn't about Thor, though. It was about Thaddeus. Okay, so Tin Man wants custody of Thaddeus, but I have sole custody of Thaddeus, and have had sole custody of him his whole life. I wondered, though, would the courts move Thaddeus because his two siblings, Thor and half sister, lived in Virginia? No, that's not the way the court system works. Thaddeus, being 13, has a voice in the legal system. Either way, I'm the parent. I make the decisions. There's no way in hell I'm allowing him to move in with Tin Man. Tin Man wants custody so badly, he's going to have a rough road trying to prove I'm an incompetent mother. Right. So I was feeling better. I know who I am. I know I'm a good mother. I come from a point of strength, whereas Tin Man would have to prove otherwise. All right, good luck, asshole, I mumbled. Your efforts are going to be wasted. I felt better, not great, but certainly better. Friday arrived. Jake and I didn't have to wait until 3 o'clock when Thaddeus's train pulled in to know he was on it. Thaddeus had an Apple tag on his medicine bag, installed by Jake in case his medicine bag ever got misplaced. Jake was able to check his Apple phone to see that Thaddeus had been at the Richmond Amtrak train station that morning. Before we left for the train station, I checked my email. I was not shocked to have received an email from the Cowardly Lion, Tin Man's attorney. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Here we go, I thought. I knew I would have to ride this wave. There was nothing I could do to prevent it from coming. I also felt very strongly that everything was going to be okay, thankfully. I'd been down this road twice before, feeling God always had my back. God knows my heart. He had protected both my boys, and he would continue to do so. I also knew this was going to suck, so I just needed to hold on until I got through it. Keep the faith, I reminded myself. When we arrived at the Amtrak station, I very much anticipated seeing Thaddeus. My stomach was all in knots. When he came down the escalator, I could read his energies. Good Lord, I thought. He is in dick mode. Thaddeus wouldn't even look at me. I shook my head in disgust. Okay, fine, I said, reaching over to kiss him on the head. Let's go. Time to go home, I said with emphasis. Jake was as tense as I was. I knew he was reliving 2019. Flashes of court were also going through my mind. Whew, I feel so much better, don't you? Yeah, thanks for listening.